Larry Holder, Jeff Duncan here with you. The Saints are about a week away from the NFL scouting combine, but going into that, they're evaluating their own roster, looking at their own free agents, scouring the market of what's going on. And before they know what they can do as far as prospect-wise, they got to know what they're going to do on their own roster, and they've certainly got some question marks as far as unrestricted free agents and some interesting scenarios in the restricted free agents, mainly three of them: Willie, Snead, Brandon Coleman, and Delvin Breaux, which we've seen all kinds of drama around Snead. We've seen all kinds of drama around Breaux, and it's certainly, even though you don't have these big-time names, Kenny Vaccaro is your big unrestricted free agent. But it's certainly some different scenarios the Saints are going to have to spell out.
Well, this is the time of year that Mickey Loomis, Jeff Ireland, Sean Payton get together, and they compile that list that we always hear about of musts, needs, and wants.
Right.
And those prioritize what they're going to attack in free agency and in the NFL draft, and they try to accomplish them all. They usually don't accomplish them all, but this is the time of year where they're having these personnel meetings and deciding who's going to be on the musts, what position's on the need, what's a want. And so I think those restricted free agents will be in that discussion. I think it's going to be interesting to see which way the Saints go on those restricted free agents, because they've been key players for the Saints, but they weren't this past year. So do they see Delvin Breaux and Willie Snead as the 2016 versions that were very productive, 2015 especially for Delvin Breaux, or 2017 where really neither player contributed much at all to the roster? It's going to be interesting to see if they issue tenders to both of those players. But this is the time of year where they start building that roster, stacking the depth chart, and determine which directions they're going to go at all these different positions.
And also, let's not forget about Brandon Coleman. He's been someone who, I feel like before he had the bad game with the Jets where he lost the 2 fumbles, he would make 1 or 2 key catches a game. It's not like he was their main option, but he was, up to that point, he was reliable.
Yes.
And that's someone who they've invested a lot of time in, and I'm curious to see what direction they go. But
he's well liked too.
Yeah,
teammates like him.
He's worked his way into this, and you're just wondering, as far as for the Saints and the direction of Snead and Delvin Breaux, hurt feelings? Can they mend fences of what's happened? Because of course, Willie Snead, we've seen his production drop off tremendously with the arrest and then the injury, and they just kind of phased him out. And then Breaux, with the whole doctor issue, where they thought he was milking it, and then they wanted to trade him, and then, oh, by the way, he actually had a broken leg, and so he had some egg on the Saints' face. Can those fences be mended? I'm curious to see how that works.
And delving ahead into the unrestricted free agency, you mentioned Kenny Vaccaro. I think all the reporting we've heard internally is he will not be back with the Saints. I would be surprised. I'm not closing the door entirely, because you never know. But from all indications, Kenny Vaccaro is going to hit the open market and probably sign a major deal with another team. I think the Saints feel good about their young safeties, Marcus Williams and Von Bell. So it's not necessarily that they've soured on Kenny Vaccaro. They've just made a decision that internally they feel better about their young safeties, and they can pay those guys cheaper contracts than getting involved in the elite safety market that Kenny Vaccaro might command. And then I think Senio Kelemete, the other, I think, prize unrestricted free agent on the roster, he's probably going to get a starting salary from somebody in the league, and I don't think the Saints can afford to match that because they've got so much other money invested in their starters along the offensive line.
No doubt about it. So, all right, we'll be back for more videos. Saints, you can check it out at NOLA.com, and of course, check out all of our coverage of all things Saints at NOLA.com and in the Times-Picayune. For Jeff Duncan, for Larry Holder, thanks for joining us.